Good morning and/or afternoon, classmates, teachers, and TAs. This is David Diggs, returning again for another assignment. I want to apologize to the TAs and professors beforehand for the delay. Just been busy with school and work, but I am and have been excited to present this speech to you. This speech is about the relationship between Liberia and America, and specifically the Firestone Rubber Company. So I know that we all drive cars and/or use car tires, correct? And we know the wheel was invented almost at the beginning of time. So if you have ever bought or replaced car tires and have ever seen the name Firestone on it, you are in for a lesson today. Liberia was a country founded in 1821 by freed Black Americans with assistance from the American Colonization Society, in which they essentially didn't have anywhere or any place to put freed Black men and women and families. Those weren't the only citizens brought. There were also freed Black people from Barbados and the Caribbean and other places. But for the sake of time in this speech, we'll focus on that. Liberia was nestled between Ghana and Sierra Leone, and it was the only independent African nation for several years outside of Ethiopia. If you fast forward 100 years, Liberia became a main source for rubber tap. And around 1926, Harvey Firestone Sr., with support of the U.S. State Department, secured a 99-year contract in which they could loan Liberia $5 million to stabilize the company as long as they were able to tap the rubber and build up the Firestone Company. It turned Liberia into the largest rubber producer during World War II, which made them an asset for America. But we will see in the next part here how that began to affect. So we're going to get into human costs and exploitation and Jim Crow. The managers were accused of, and a lot of us work these shifts nowadays, but forced labor and grueling 11-hour shifts for tappers. You have to understand the environment and the climate in Liberia, right? It is typically no cooler than 85 degrees and oftentimes over 100. And these were women and children and men working in these plantations. The plantation was modeled after the American South. There was segregation between the Firestone owners and corporate businessmen, and where the laborers' children and went to school at. By 1951, Firestone profits were 3 times Liberia's whole entire economy. And during the Liberian Civil War, which occurred in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, Firestone made deals with Charles Taylor, who was later arraigned in international court under warlord accusations with food, fuel, and cash. As we move into the modern legacy, current day, former President Ellen Sirleaf Johnson, who was the first female leader of a sovereign nation internationally, called it a mixed story, stating that Firestone does provide schools and clinics and such, but it also remains under fire for labor conditions and maltreatment. Early 2025, workers launched major strikes over pay increments and retired benefits. And also the 99-year lease officially reached its milestone in late 2025, which led for discussions and renegotiations of contracts and human labor and rights. I say all this to say, in conclusion, we've seen how a single business deal way back in 1926 that kind of had the citizens' wolves pulled over their eyes. It was supposed to benefit and stabilize the economy, actually completely destroyed the economy and left a lot of people desolate. And it is unfortunate. I will say in conclusion that sometimes in business, a deal on paper in the long term does not look and read as positive as you may think, just because you're receiving something on the front end. As you can see, I'm wearing my Liberia soccer jersey, and I had the privilege of visiting Liberia 7 years ago, and I could see the effects of the Civil War and the effects of economic exploitation. So thank you all for your time. I do appreciate it.